peel the branding off one of these, and underneath it, it's a webcam. Genuinely. A webcam, a Wi-Fi chip, a plastic shell shaped kind of like an egg, and an app that wants $8 a month, which is unfair, a little. There's more going on in there than that, just not as much more as the box is implying. So, what these actually do, what they absolutely can't, and at the end, what to actually look for. Because for some people, this is an easy yes, and for some people, it's $90 to feel worse at work. Oh, and the links in the description are affiliate links. If you buy through one, I earn a small commission, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. The ones worth your money are mentioned in the description. "4K. It's on the box now in big type, and it does almost nothing for you. The stream goes out over your home Wi-Fi, gets squeezed down so your phone can actually play it, and by the time it hits your screen, it's mush regardless. 1080p is fine. 1080p's been fine for years. What you're paying for with the big number is the number. What actually matters is how wide the lens goes. 120 degrees, 160, whatever they're claiming this year. Because the dog you're worried about is always the dog who just walked out of frame. And ignore the zoom spec entirely. That's digital zoom, which is a fancy way of saying cropping. You press the button, you get bigger pixels. That's the whole trick. Audio's two-way, and the two halves are not equal. The mic's surprisingly good. You'll hear the fridge, a leaf blower 2 houses down, your dog breathing. The speaker is a coin-sized thing in a plastic shell, so you come out compressed and a little robotic. And there's lag, a second, maybe 2. On the cheap ones, it's half duplex, meaning while you're talking, it can't hear, so you end up talking over each other and only one of you knows it. Night vision's infrared. Little LEDs ring the lens. The picture drops to black and white. Your dog's eyes flare up like found footage. It works. Just know that 30-foot range means about 15 in a room with actual furniture in it, and a white dog near the lens turns into a glowing blob with no face. Your voice comes out of a 2-inch speaker at the bottom of a plastic puck, compressed down to about drive-through intercom quality, and the dog's supposed to go, "Ah, yes, my person." And a lot of them do, honestly. There's decent work showing dogs can pick their owner's voice out from a stranger's. They know the sound of you. Knowing the sound of you and understanding what's going on, different animals entirely. Because think about what the dog's actually working with. No smell. No body in the doorway. No hands. Just this floating you, coming from the wrong height, out of a thing on the bookshelf that has never once been you before. So the dog does what dogs do, goes looking, room to room, back again, sniffs the camera, nothing there. And you've basically just called them into a room that doesn't exist. Chilled out dog? Whatever. Mild confusion, shrug, back to sleep. But a dog who's already winding himself up the second the door clicks, you might have just restarted the clock. Handed him proof you're somewhere, which is the exact thing he was trying to stop thinking about. The other use people swear by is the remote telling off. Dog's on the couch, you say his name through the app. Dog gets off the couch. And sure, it sort of works, in the sense that a loud noise from a shelf startles a dog. Nothing's being taught. You're not there. No follow-through, no timing you can trust over Wi-Fi, no... Look, I think two-way audio is for you. It makes the workday feel less bad, and that's a real thing. I'm not pretending it isn't. Just don't sell it to yourself as comfort for the dog. Kibble comes out of these things at roughly the speed and trajectory of a badly thrown dart, skitters under the couch, dog spends 4 minutes doing the leg scramble thing on the hardwood, gets nothing, gives up. That version doesn't make the ad. The ad's a golden retriever sitting politely, catching one out of the air. And fine, some dogs do learn the sound of the motor spinning up and get weirdly good at this. They'll park themselves a foot from the dispenser for hours, which brings me to the part that actually bugs me. Whatever your dog is doing when you hit that button is the thing you just paid for. And what he's doing 90% of the time is standing in front of the camera staring at it. So now there's a dog loitering in a hallway waiting on a machine. Nobody's calling that enrichment once you put it like that. It's a slot machine with a leash on it. Also, boring point, but real, calories. You're at work, you're bored, you press the button 11 times. Small dog? That's a chunk of the day's food gone. And then you're at the vet doing the face. Multi-dog house? Forget it. Fast one eats everything. Slow one learns to quit trying. You're not there to referee, and the camera sure isn't. Do I think they're junk? Not exactly. They're fun. Pressing a button and watching your dog materialize out of nowhere is a genuinely nice 30 seconds of your afternoon. And the jam rate will drive you up a wall because they all jam, every one of them. A frozen Kong does more for a dog's brain than a treat cannon ever will. Doesn't need Wi-Fi either. Give the dog the Kong. Buy the camera because you want the camera. Your phone buzzes at 11:40 on a Tuesday, and it's a 12-second clip of a sunbeam crawling across the couch. Nothing in it, no dog, just light, moving. That's motion detection, and it's worth knowing what it actually is, because it's not a camera watching your dog. It's software comparing one frame to the next frame. If enough little squares of pixels change value, it decides something moved, and it fires. Curtains, headlights through the window, the robot vacuum, a moth, honestly. The camera doesn't know what a dog is at that stage. It knows that stuff got brighter over here. Bark alerts, same idea, but sound. A volume threshold with some frequency filtering bolted on, so it ignores the fridge hum. Garbage truck trips it, the neighbor's dog trips it. The TV you left on for company trips it. Which, okay, that's a whole separate argument. Moving on. So you go into the settings and drag the sensitivity down because 40 ping today is unlivable. And now it's quiet. Beautifully quiet. And it's also not catching the thing you bought it for. Zones help. Genuinely, they do. If the app lets you draw a box around the back door and ignore the window, use it. That's the single most useful setting in there. Most people never open it. But the real damage from false alerts isn't any one alert. It's what a week of them does to you. You start swiping without looking. Then you mute the app. Everybody mutes the app. That's just what happens. And then the one afternoon something actually goes sideways, your phone's face down in a drawer, buzzing to nobody. Detects early signs of separation anxiety. That's printed on boxes, sold at retail, $90 plus a monthly fee. Here's what's under that claim. The model does object detection, dog, person, cat, bounding box around it, and sometimes a rough pose estimate, meaning it guesses where the spine and legs are. That part works fine. It's mature technology, been around for years, and it's why the camera can tell your dog from your roommate. The anxiety bit is a different animal entirely. To train something to spot stress, you need thousands of clips that a human already labeled stressed. So, who labeled them? And this is the part that gets glossed over. Behavior people watching the same 30-second clip will disagree with each other. Not on the extremes. On the middle, which is where most dogs live, panting could be heat. Pacing could be boredom. A yawn is either a stress signal or a yawn. Then stack breed on top. A greyhound's resting posture would read as cowering on a bulldog. Tail carriage baseline is different on a pug versus a husky, and the model is squinting at all of it through a fisheye lens at, 720p? In a dim living room. What these things are actually good at is counting. Minutes upright, times the dog crossed the room. When it settled, when it didn't, that's a log. And a log is real data you can hand your vet. And I think it's underrated as a feature. It's the word anxiety doing the lying. That's a diagnosis wearing a progress bar. Bored and miserable look identical to a camera. They look pretty similar to us too, and we live with them. Timestamps. Genuinely, the most useful thing one of these gives you is a row of times down the side of the app. Because you come home, cushion shredded, and you assume it happened somewhere around hour 3 when the dog got bored. Then you scrub back, and it happened 9 minutes after the door shut, while he was still spun up and panicking. Same cushion, completely different problem, and completely different fix. That's what these things are actually good at. Timing. When the whining starts, how long it goes, whether it stops on its own, and that last one matters way more than people give it credit for. A dog who barks for 6 minutes and then flops over and sleeps is not the same animal as one still pacing at hour 3. Looks identical from the driveway. They're also good for the small stuff you'd never be around to see. A cough? Scratching the same ear over and over for a week? That weird stiff back leg thing that shows up at 6 a.m. and mysteriously vanishes in the vet's exam room. Being able to hand somebody 30 seconds of your dog doing the thing, that's worth the whole price of the camera, easily. And it settles arguments. Did the walker actually show up? Did any food get eaten? Or did the bowl just get nudged 3 inches to the left? The neighbor who complained about constant barking? Constant, or 4 minutes and some generous rounding. The rest of the feature list, treat toss, two-way audio, the little AI alerts, fine, I guess. Some of it's useful, but the timing you can't get any other way. Otherwise, you're just standing in your living room reading the wreckage like a crime scene. Why? That's the one thing the footage will never hand you. You've got the dog howling at 9:40, 4 mornings running, crystal clear. Okay, great. Is that anxiety? Or the mail truck at 9:38? Or is he bored senseless? Or, people hate this one, is he perfectly happy and just a bit of a talker? The camera films all 4 of those identically. And that's where it gets bad. Because watching hours of your own dog feels like research. It really isn't. Somebody watches a week of pacing, decides it's severe separation anxiety, goes down that whole road, and a trainer looks at the same clip and says the dog's underexercised and needs something to chew on. Footage feels like evidence. You're the one doing the interpreting, though, and you're probably not qualified. I'm definitely not. And it can't stop anything, which people forget when they're buying one. Dogs eating a sock at 1 in the afternoon, you get to watch that happen in 1080p from a meeting with your hands full. That's the ceiling on the whole product, not a flaw in the cheap ones. All of them. Minute 4. That's usually about when it kicks off. The whining, the pacing, the checking the door, then the window, then the door again. And you'd never know any of it, because by the time you're home, the dog's asleep on the couch looking innocent. So yeah, the camera earns its money here. It's the one thing that tells you whether your dog's actually panicking or just bored and mildly annoyed. Those are different problems. Totally different fixes. And a vet behaviorist can actually use that. You can't get those numbers any other way, short of sitting in your own closet for 3 hours. Where it falls apart is everything I said about the speaker, except worse. Because this is the exact dog it's worst for. Voice with no you attached on a dog who's already looking for you. Don't. Treat tosser, same. He's crying, you feel bad. You fire one off. You know what that is by now. And the other failure mode is you. Watching it live is rough. You see the pacing, you leave work early, and now the dog's learned that panicking summons you home. Cameras don't fix separation anxiety. Not even a little. The fix is slow, boring departure work, and sometimes medication prescribed by your vet, which I wish people would stop feeling weird about. Talk to your vet about that one, obviously. I'm a guy with a camera. The camera just tells you what you're up against, which honestly isn't nothing. Camera mounted up in the corner of the ceiling, angled down. Classic. And what you get is 8 hours of footage of the top of a dog's head. You can't read a dog from above. The stuff you need, ears, tail, whether they're panting, whether they've gone stiff, that's all side on. Put it at couch height. Lower, even. Pointing the thing at a window's another one. Sun comes round, exposure blows out, and now you've got a white rectangle with a vaguely dog-shaped smudge in it. Buying on megapixels. Said it already, saying it again because it's the one everybody does. Sensor and night vision, not resolution. Trusting the smart alerts, too. They'll ping you for a curtain moving and sleep straight through 20 minutes of the couch getting eaten. Oh, and the subscription. Half these things store nothing without one, so you go looking for last Tuesday and there's just nothing. Little one, the status LED. Some dogs lock onto it. There's a setting, turn it off. And the big one, the one nobody admits to, buying the camera, watching it obsessively for 4 days, then never opening the app again. Things still up there, faithfully filming an empty rug for nobody. "40 minutes. That's how long a guy I read about spent watching a live feed of his dog asleep on a rug, waiting for something to happen. Nothing happened. Dog slept, which is what dogs do, 12, 14 hours a day, more if they're old, and none of it looks like much on a phone screen. But the camera doesn't tell you that's normal. It hands you a grainy lump on a floor and lets your brain do the rest. Is he breathing funny? Was that a limp, or did he just shift? He hasn't moved since 11, and it's 11:06, but still. And you can check it from a meeting. That's the trap. Not the camera, the fact that it's 4 inches from your hand, always, and checking costs you nothing except the next 20 minutes of your life. And it becomes a ritual is the thing. Coffee? Check. Between meetings? Check. Traffic light? Check. None of those are decisions you're making. It's just where your thumb goes now. Nobody buys a camera planning to look at it 30 times a day. Everybody does it anyway. One of you is getting something out of that, and it isn't the dog. I'd say check it twice. Once mid-morning, once when you're actually leaving work. That's it. If you're watching a sleeping animal at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, the camera's not telling you anything about the dog. The dog's fine. The dog's been fine the whole time. He's got, 10 more hours of this in him? Every one of these things is a microphone in your living room talking to a server you don't own. That's not a conspiracy, that's just the product. You're renting a lens and paying somebody to keep the footage in a building in Virginia. And mostly that's fine, mostly. But a couple years back, one of the big camera companies pushed an app update and people opened it to a stranger's feed. Somebody else's kitchen. Nobody hacked anything. Some tired engineer shipped bad code on a Friday, and that was enough. So, boring stuff that actually helps. Don't reuse the password. I know, but those accounts get scooped up in breaches that had nothing to do with cameras, and somebody runs the list against everything. 2-factor 2, even the annoying text message kind. Most of these run on 2.4 gigahertz, not 5, which is why setup fails while your laptop's sitting 2 feet away perfectly happy. The camera literally can't see that band. Put your phone on the 2.4 network while you're setting it up, and it usually sorts itself out. Upload speed's the other one nobody thinks about. Your plan says 300 down and then 10 up, and every stream in the house is fighting over that 10. 2 cameras and a work call, and the whole thing turns into a slideshow. If your router does a guest network, stick the cameras on it. Takes about 4 minutes. Keeps the camera off the same little neighborhood as your laptop and whatever's open in your bank tab. And if the model's got a micro SD slot, use it. Footage sitting on a card in a drawer in your house is footage nobody can lose for you. Eight-week-old puppy, first week in a new house, crate in the kitchen? Yeah, get the camera. That's the easiest yes on the whole list, and it's not close. You're going to be guessing about that dog's entire day for a month, and guessing badly. Same deal if something's actually going wrong. Dog's chewing the door frame, or the neighbor keeps mentioning the howling, or you come home to, Evidence. You need to see when it starts. 10 minutes in? 40? Does it kick off the second the car pulls out? Or does he settle first and then come apart later? A trainer can work with that. Nobody can work with he's bad when I'm gone. Senior dogs, sure. If a dog's having little episodes or the back legs are getting shaky, being able to look is worth $90 easy. And honestly, if you've got someone coming in midday, a walker, a sitter, whatever, not to spy on them exactly. Just, it's nice to know the 20-minute walk was 20 minutes. Now, who shouldn't? If you're already the type who checks your phone 40 times at dinner, this thing will eat you alive. I mean it. You'll watch a dog sleep for 6 straight hours and then feel guilty about the 7 minutes he spent pacing. That's not information. That's a new way to be miserable at work. And if the plan is to talk at him through the speaker and tell him to knock it off, you know where I stand on that by now. Congratulations, you built a haunted house. Dog's fine, you're fine, nobody's worried. Save the money. Under $100, no subscription, decent night vision, that's the buy. Everything past that is paying for stuff you'll use twice. The treat launcher, the 360 spin, the bark alert that pings you every time a truck goes by. I used to think the cheap ones were a false economy. That gap's mostly closed. The budget models ended up with the same sensors, and the picture is the picture. The $200 camera and the $80 one show you the same thing, which is a dog on a rug. What I'd actually pay up for? Local storage or free clip history. So you're not renting your own footage back at $7 a month forever. And if you've got one of these already, tell me in the comments whether you still open the app. I want to know what the real number is. Okay, the part that matters more than any of that. A camera doesn't do anything. It's a window. It watches a dog be lonely in 1080p and sends you a notification about it. If the dog's bored, he's still bored. And if he's coming apart at minute 11, that's still happening at minute 11. You just get to watch it now. The stuff that actually changes what's on that screen is boring, and it costs time. A real walk before you go. Something in the house that isn't you, a frozen thing to chew, a puzzle toy, whatever. A person stopping by at noon. And I don't know, teaching the alone thing in small doses, which takes weeks, and nobody wants to hear that. The camera just tells you whether any of it worked. That's the job. Which is fine, by the way. Knowing is useful. Half of what goes sideways here is people guessing about a dog they can't see. Just don't let the little glowing eye on the bookshelf become the thing you did about it. He's asleep anyway. Been asleep since 9:15. Go do your work.